And welcome back. Welcome back to another Maniacal Vapes live stream. How's everybody doing this lovely Friday afternoon? Pretty sure, well, or Friday evening, depending on wherever the hell you're at. I'm freaking tired. I've been working my ass off here lately. And little on the sleepy side, but I've been really looking forward to doing this. This is a nice little highlight for me, actually. I would draw your attention to the lighting that you're seeing here. The window's open. I didn't want to draw the curtains. It is absolutely stunningly beautiful out there today, and I didn't want to shut the window and get all stifled up. So I figured, what the hell? I'll just leave it open. It's not like my content is like super 4K definition kind of shit anyway. So, all right. So here we are. And to start off the program, as we always do, I don't know if we did it last time or not, but we're gonna do it now. It's time to have a vape. Oh, cheers to you. Top notch shit right there. All right. So hopefully everybody's out there is doing just fine and or dandy. So, and let's go ahead and this episode of Maniacal Vapes is sponsored by Apotheosis Box Mods. Yes. So there's that. So let me get that up. All right. So the title of our video today is The Divide in Vaping. And unless you've been hiding under a rock for the past 7-8 years, you know that the divide in vaping is, well, it's big. It is big. There's a lot of different factions, a lot of different people don't like a lot of different other people. And I guess I should start out by where this idea came from, or where the idea for this topic came from. I was watching a reviewer and he had a guest on, and they were, talking about the PMTAs and all that other shit. And they were talking about, the demise of the vape store and all this other stuff. And the guest surmised that part of the problem with vaping, and one of the reasons that it's dying, or that it was dying off, is because there was a drill press in the store, on the counter, on a table, whatever. With the implication being that people who used RDAs, because back in the day, if you had a drill press, that was for drilling out your air holes, getting more air so you get bigger vapor, right? So his premise was that because vape stores catered to cloud chasers, that they were chasing away prospective first-time vapors, or transitioners, if you will. And I heard that, and I'll be honest, immediately I got angry. And I thought, wow, what a clueless asshat. And so I got to thinking about it some more. And I gave it some thought for a few days or whatnot, and I came to the conclusion that yes, indeed, this person was an asshat. Because what he was doing is making a generalized statement about something that could or could not be true. And in my experience, was not true at the time. And so that got me to thinking, well, he obviously doesn't like, cloud chasers. Apparently, we're a problem. And this is a person who is a mouth to lung type person. And most cloud chasers really don't have any time for mouth to lungers. And so you've got that faction, that faction right there. Then you have the factions within the cloud chasing community, the factions within the mouth to lung community. Just those with stuff, those without stuff. I mean, it just goes on and on. And it's even at, you've got at the individual level, and you have it at the shop level. This shop doesn't like this shop because they cater to a certain crowd, or they do this or they do that. It's altogether kind of silly in the grand scheme of things, but I can kind of understand where everybody's coming from, right? In everything you like, in everything you do, there's always the other guy, whether it be sports or, work or whatever. It's always the other guy. We don't like them. We as a people tend to do better if there's a villain, if there's a bad guy, because obviously we internalize that we are the good guy and the other person is the bad guy. And I've heard enough feedback from people who watch my videos in the comment section, and they share certain perceptions as well. But I got a comment on the last video that gave me pause, and I almost didn't make this video. I was like, maybe I need to rethink what I'm doing here. Am I dividing? Am I adding further fuel to the fire? Am I one of the chisels that is breaking apart this fine industry, as it were? And after much reflection, I came to the conclusion that no, I'm not a chisel. I am not anything. I am an idiot with a microphone and a webcam in the middle of the United States who happens to have some opinionated thoughts. One of the things that he mentioned in the comment was vilification. And that's the point of saying that someone else is bad and making them out to be a bad person or a bad group or something like that. And you can go read the comment yourself if you want to, and my response to that is, how many times does someone have to do something fucked up before you call it being fucked up? It seems to be a problem that we're having as a whole in this world right now, is you can't call someone out about something without you being something else. Logic and reason and truth seem to have taken a back seat to want, needs, and desires. So looking at it through that lens, I'm looking, when I call this dude an asshat, that's because that is my genuine belief. I do not like this person. I have not liked this person for many, many years for a multitude of reasons. And this was just one more fucking thing that confirmed what I was saying all along, is that he's a clueless asshat. And so I want to explain to some of my thoughts behind the divisions that we have within different groups, why they're there. And some of them I just can't answer. I don't know why some people don't like some people. And then what can we do going forward? And at this point, though, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think the horse is already out of the barn. I think vaping in and of itself is not ever going to go back to this way of life that I'm about to, go through and describe. Vaping will have to become something different. I don't see any other way. We've become too fractured. We've become too opinionated. And I think what we're going to see is almost like what's that candy bar? Is it Twix or Kit Kat? One of those where there's one Kit Kat factory over here and another Kit Kat factory over here, and they don't get along, but there's still the same thing. I think that's kind of what's going to happen to us. I think that one of us is going to take on a different name. Vaping in general. There's going to be a different way to describe it. Would be my best guess. But so let's go ahead and start with my absolute favoriteest one is the mouth to lung versus cloud chasers, or an easier way to put it that maybe is flavor chasers versus cloud chasers. And that even of itself is a fucking lie. You still get great flavor off of a big old RDA. You don't get any better flavor just because it's smaller. If you make a pizza, just because you make an 8-inch pizza doesn't mean it's any better tasting than a 12-inch pizza. It's still mighty tasty. You're just doing it a different way. And that argument that I'm a flavor chaser and that's why I do mouth to lung, that's never held water for me. Because I remember my first, when doing my first RDA, and one of the very first juices I remember coming out that really just changed the industry was the Serial Killer by Nine South Vapes, I believe it was. And it changed everything as far as juice went. And I tasted it just fine on my iGo W, I guess is what I had at the moment. Because I went from the really shitty iGo W, and then I think the very next RDA I got was a Mutation X, if I'm not mistaken. I couldn't stand it, so I gave it to my brother-in-law, and I ended up getting something else. I can't remember what it was. But then I started buying, a lot of new RDAs, the Vulcan, the Hobo, the one that I absolutely loved. I cannot think of the name of it. It's the first one that ever had T-posts that had 4 holes. I'm wanting to say it started with an M. I've got one. I'm staring right at it. And now the one I'm staring at is clone. It's not the one I actually had, but that was the first RDA. So before, everything was just 3 posts, so you had to share the middle. It kind of sucked ass. And then that 4 post came along, and oh my god, it was so much easier to build. I remember having to drill it out because the air holes were like 1 millimeter air holes. But nobody knew any better back then. It wasn't a matter of they didn't want to. They didn't know any better. They just figured you put any size holes, any hole will do. Hole size was not a consideration back then. But we'll go back to the mouth to lung thing. When I first started out, at the beginning, it was a Tesla 15-watt device, and I started out with a Kangertech Pro something or another tank on top of it. Can't remember what the name was but it was all that was out there. And then the Nautilus came out, and boy, that was an amazing device. Changed everything. And so that's what I started out with, was the Nautilus. After the obligatory ego stick and C4s and shit like that, right? But when I really started getting into it, when I thought, yes, this is going to be something that's going to last, this is something that's going to be to stick, I used the Nautilus, and it was a fine device with the multiple airflow. I always had it set wide open because I never could do the tightest draw on it because it invoked my gag reflex. You know what I mean? I don't know if everybody has this, if it was just me, but if I'm trying to puff on something and it just doesn't feel right to me, it makes me want to throw up. And the thing is, you got to keep in mind, I was smoking, yeah, but a cigarette had more draw than your loosest vape thing at that time, except for RDAs. And it took me just a minute, being an ex-tobacco user, to discover RDAs and mech mods and stuff like that. But that's one of my earliest run-ins with this divide. With this, there's a group of people back then. There's still a group of people out there right now who think they are vape gods. They think they know it all. They think they are the be-all fucking end-all in vaping. Much like Mr. Asshat is. He believes that he knows everything, that his word is law. It's just the way it is. And I got a taste of that at the very beginning. I went into a local vape store here, and it was a chain. There was like only 2 of them, I think, at the time, 2 or 3 of them. And I went in there to I think I went in there to get some coils for something, or to look at juice, or look for batteries, or something like that. And I saw my first mech mod. And I've got one now. I don't know where the hell it's at. It was the Valkyrie? Is that what it was called? Yeah. The Valkyrie by Vicious Ant. The clone, obviously, because back then, very few stores had authentic things to begin with. Authentics were not that mainstream. Most everybody got the knockoff or clone from China because there's no way that you could buy the Valkyrie, retailed out for somewhere around $250 to $300 in this new industry, this new world of vaping. That really wasn't going to fly. So yeah, I'll say the clone Valkyrie for 50 fucking bucks, and away you go. Well, I went in there, I saw this mod, and I went, oh my God, that is absolutely gorgeous. And so I asked her, I says, what is that? And he says, that's a mech mod. I says, what? Give me some more information about that. He says, you know anything about building? I'm like, no. He says, here, you need to look over here. Literally, he would not show me because I didn't know anything. Instead of showing me or explaining to me about anything and get a customer for life, he just assumed that I was a newbie. And for information, we'll tap on this maybe later, I'm not sure, but I despise the word newbie. Despise it with a fucking passion. I think it's degrading. I think it doesn't invoke anybody to want to come into your world when you've already singled them out and labeled them different. I think that's just bad. Just a bad idea all the way around. So, let me check this real quick. Oh. So, anyway, I went to another vape store. They explained to me what a Mechamod was, explained to me what an RDA was, told me to go watch a few YouTube videos, and then come back, and they'd be more than happy to sell me something. Which, looking back at it now, I find to be pretty responsible, to be honest with you. Mech mods back in the day didn't exactly scream safety. You know, they weren't. Some of them were janky, especially some of the ones coming from China. They were janky as shit. I mean, I don't know if you remember the oh, what the hell, the Hades. The Hades. I don't know what the original felt like. I've never touched one. I've never seen one, but I know that fucking clone is one janky ass son of a bitch. So good on them for explaining it to me, but not selling me. And I took that away, and I use that in my own career working at a vape store. Is there's some people you just don't sell someone something without finding out if they can handle it or not. And they need to be tutored. They need to be showed the right way to do stuff. There's too many people out there who try to take shortcuts, and that's not cool, especially with a tube mod, because bad things can happen. You don't teach them battery safety. Don't put your batteries in your pocket with your change. Just little things along the way that they need to know, and that can't sometimes be conveyed in a 5-10 minute session at the vape store. That's a longer conversation. So let's have a drink. How long have I been rambling on for here? There's a clock somewhere on this son of a bitch. Oh, there it is. Okay. So right from the beginning, I saw the divide. And shortly thereafter, that's when I started building. That's when I started acquiring knowledge. Anything and everything that I could learn about vaping, I did. From, wire resistance to batteries, everything there, how a battery is made, what's the internal resistance, who makes them, shit like that. Just anything and everything, no matter, like, does anybody out there happen to know what the melting point of Canthal is? I do. I literally researched everything to fucking death. Now, I didn't do this to become a know-it-all asshat behind the counter who would judge you before you came in. I did it so that I could share this information with people, because I'd seen enough people holding on to this information like it's gold. And it's not their information. It's not my information. It's all of our information. If I can explain to someone the dangers or any of the interesting quirks about a wire or a battery or an RDA or a tube mod or, magnets in the anything, if I can impart that knowledge to them, that keeps them safer. That keeps them smarter. And it makes it more able for them to pass that knowledge on to someone else and hopefully spread this whole vaping thing. Because that's what it's all about, is harm reduction, right? At least you think that's what it would be. At least that's what you would hope. And I hear a lot of people make that argument. Well, it's about, people who smoke now and, getting them onto vaping. I don't think that's what their main goal was. I don't think it ever was, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so going back to the feud between the mouth of lungers and the cloud chasers. I mean, we're drilling out, putting fucking 3, 4, 5 millimeter holes in a fucking Patriot. I mean, just cutting up and drilling out anything in freaking sight just to get more airflow. So we can go to a cloud comm and, take that first place, talk shit to everybody. That was cool. And the thing that this asshat doesn't keep in mind is those days were the days that vaping was at its greatest numbers. That's when we had more people trying vaping for the first time. That's when we had more people coming back and getting a second bottle or getting another device or whatever. Those were the heyday of vaping. It wasn't because Anakin came out with some neat mouth to lung device. No. And as a matter of fact, Anakin is one of those companies that did not transition. Did not transition. They stayed in their own lane, and that's why they are where they are today. Absolutely, positively fucking nowhere. They have shit for market share. That's what they chose. That's the route they chose. So be it. But people didn't flock to the vape stores because of the wispy little clouds that a mouth to lung would pull out. Especially back then. Back then, your mouth to lungs, boy, they were just shitty all the way around. But then most RDAs were shitty all the way around anyway. So, but where this dude's fallacy came in is because just because there was a drill press on the table did not mean that people who came in to transition off of cigarettes felt out of place. In our store, now I will quantify this by saying there were some shops that I knew that catered to the cloud chasing scene. But even then, you know what they had in the case? They had egos. Just in case someone came in there who was looking to transition, and boy howdy, the person who had the big old RDA and the nice tube mod and shit like that, they were more than happy to get them off cigarettes. They had no problem with it. They didn't look down on them. They didn't look to the side of them. They helped them. They explained to them what they were doing, how they were bettering their lives. And to say just because there was a drill press on the table is one of the things that led to the demise of vaping. You are the dumbest motherfucker I've ever heard in my life. That's simple. And that your co-host agreed with you. That is the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my life. That is just plain stupid. Every vape store catered to certain people, catered to a certain crowd, but nary a fucking one of them would turn away someone who was looking to quit smoking. And people, if it was their first time in there, they had no idea what the drill press was for anyway, you dumbass. I mean, just that level of hubris of, I know what I'm talking about, that I'm a vape fucking god, that just blows me away. That someone, no, it had nothing to do whatsoever with the FDA. It had nothing to do with Center for Tobacco Free Kids. It had nothing to do with any of the other fucking shit, the pharmaceutical companies. That shit didn't have a goddamn thing to do with why vaping went down. It was the drill press on the fucking counter. It didn't even contribute. And what's fucked up is I think this dude actually owns a vape store. I think he does anyway. It's hard telling because he says so much shit. It's hard telling what's fact from fiction. But what I do know is that a majority of the reviewers or people who talk about vaping on YouTube don't work at a vape store. They don't have any on the boots, on the ground experience. Does that make me better than them? No. It just means I have more knowledge. I have more experience. I've seen firsthand. People don't care if there's a drill press on the counter. And okay, well, I wasn't talking literally about the drill press. I was talking about the culture. It didn't matter anyway. The cloud chasers were always off to one side. And the staff who were in there, if someone came in there looking to transition off of cigarettes, they were there to help them. That's why they were in a vape store. And that's where the divide comes in, people. That's where the divide comes in. Someone says an obviously stupid answer or statement like that. Just a big old blanket fucking statement with no facts or figures or anything to back it the fuck up, and the dude right next to him on the screen says, yeah. That's why we're fucking divided. Because instead of telling this dude, well, wait a minute, man, I think the FDA maybe had a little bit more to do with it than that, or maybe all the negative press that we got. Maybe that might have been the contributing factor. I don't. But instead of calling him on this, they just, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 you're right. You're so right because you know everything about vaping. Man, fuck off. I mean, seriously, okay? I mean, just people like that just enable other motherfuckers to keep their head ass big. I'm not saying that my head's big. I'm saying I'm on the ground. I've been in a vape store since 20 fucking 14, 15. Okay? I've seen it. I've seen all the cloud chasers. I've seen all the new people. I've seen everything. I've converted more people to vaping than any fucking reviewer out there. Fuck off. I know what I know because I'm there. I'm not making grandiose statements that some little stupid thing had a big effect. And that is all comes down to mouth to lung and cloud chasers because they can't stand cloud chasers. Can't fucking stand them. Do I know why? I do not know why. I do not. I have no clue what their fucking issue is. But because of their dislike for a certain segment of the vape group, they're out there just, yeah, cloud chasers, that's what did us in. That's what did us in. I remember them going batshit crazy over the Watt Wars when those first started out. Oh, you don't even need all that. No, yeah, that's ridiculous. That's just stupid. Matter of fact, a reviewer quit reviewing high wattage devices because he thought it was stupid. Now, were we watching him because we wanted his opinion on life? No. We were watching him because he was doing good reviews on good products. I don't know how that reviewer currently is doing. I quit subscribing to the motherfucker 3-4 years ago. Just because it's not my place as a reviewer to tell you what you should be vaping. You may argue, well, I've said a lot of bad shit about pod systems and disposables and shit like that. Yes. But I'm not a well-rounded fucking channel now, am I? I'm a very specific fucking channel. I am big stuff. Big stuff. If you watch one of my videos, you know damn good well that's what I'm about. I never have marketed myself as an everyday reviewer of all the products that come out. Because nobody sends me any product. I don't get any of this shit for free. I pay for everything I have. And so if I'm going to review something, it's something that I have that I can pull down and go, okay, I got this. Nobody's sending me any product. And even if they did send me fucking product, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and I'm allowed to have my personal opinion on this matter, I believe pod systems and disposables are not good for this industry. And so I would not review them even if they sent them to me for free, because I feel that the community and act of vaping is more important than a profit or loss statement. I believe that this industry is more important than you getting kickback money from a company to review their product. So that's why. But if that's what you want to go do, knock yourself out. If you want to go get a pod system, if you want to go get a disposable, knock yourself out. Have fun. But you'll have to go to one of those other guys to figure out how to work the son of a bitch, because I have no interest in it. I believe they're dangerous and, once again, the demise of our industry. And I guess you could say that there's a parallel there between me and this other fella who doesn't like cloud chasing, right? You could draw those parallels. It's easy enough to do. I don't believe it's the same thing, because there are there were assholes that when vaping was all, big RDAs and cloud chasing, you have people doing that in the middle of the mall or in the middle of Walmart or whatever your local discount store is. And it was bad optics, yes. But was it dangerous? No. If a cigarette has between 18 and 21 milligrams of nicotine in it and you're vaping a 50, could that be considered dangerous? You tell me. So there's so many factions going on. And I don't know exactly what the answer is to go along to get along, but I know the first thing that's going to happen is there's going to have to be some level of respect between them and us, as with any conflict or problem with two parties. Okay, I don't do mouth to lung because it makes me want to throw up. They may not do cloud chasing because it makes them want to throw up, but that doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them, because they're vaping differently than me, it doesn't mean that we're not doing the same thing. We're not enhancing our lives. We're not adding years and years and years to our life. But for one of them to go behind and badmouth the other and claim that yours is far superior, that will never help. It will never help. Not once have I claimed that this is superior to mouth to lung. Not once. Because superior is in the eye of the beholder. Much like when someone comes in the vape store. What's a good juice? Dude, I've got one dude I'll give a juice to, and he'll say it's the best thing on earth. I give the same juice to someone else, and they'll say it tastes like shit. It's all personal. It's all personalized. But I don't go to either one of them. It's pretty well shit. I give them the opportunity to discover that shit for themselves. If that makes sense. So, we'll kind of sum it up here a little bit and say this. You, the person watching this video. The reason you're watching this video is you've probably subscribed. And so you use RDAs, you use higher wattage devices. We're a fringe group now. We're a fringe group. And that's one of the reasons why I want to continue this channel. I want us to have a place where we can all exchange information, exchange ideas, bullshit, stuff like that. Do I have a problem with, let's take a specific channel. Let's take, Todd. Let's take Todd. Todd, he doesn't do high-powered shit. He typically does mouth-to-lung stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll watch some of his videos every once in a while as well. There's nothing wrong with that. And I would never badmouth him because that's the route he took. But he didn't trash everybody else to get there. He didn't say, well, you cloud chasing bitches are fucking fucked in the head. Fuck all of you. I'm just going to do mouth to lung. No. He just said, you know what? I'm going to review the stuff that I personally use. And because I personally use mouth to lung, that's probably all I'm going to review. Oh, okay. No hard feelings. I'm still subscribed. I don't watch hardly any of his videos, but I respect that's what he did. When you have a fucking idiot who fucking says, oh, you shouldn't be vaping like this. This is bad for the industry. This just makes us look bad. No, it doesn't. And just a parting thought to leave with here is, I will ask you, a disposable, a pod system, Mouth to lung or cloud chaser? Disposable pod system. This. What's killing the industry? What has the FDA focused on? Enough said. Enough said. I want to thank y'all for watching. We're going to try another video next week. I'm going to have to come up with a cute little topic. What we're probably going to do is I'm probably going to grab an old mod off the shelf, and we'll probably take some time and talk about it and reminisce and shit about the good old days, as it were. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you feel you need to leave a comment, by all means, positive or the negative, I take it all, man. I'll take it right there on the chin. If you think you got me, you got me. So, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. And let's do this.